So this practice today is very much blowing the cobwebs away. You'll clear out your thoughts, get your body moving, but it's always very gentle. So let's just start with something very, very familiar as we go from side to side a couple of times. So this also, I've mentioned this before, about balancing the pelvis as you sway from side to side. And then also it encourages the brain hemisphere communication as you again transfer focus from one side to the other. It also tones the digestive system slightly, but in the most gentle way, and just warms the whole body up. It works on all the energies within the body. So in the Eastern practice, or in the Eastern view, you've got 5 energies, and each energy controls a different part of the body and the mind as well. So this moves all of them. And I'm sure I've said before that you'll find this version of movement, not just in yoga, but you'll find it in other Eastern practices like Tai Chi and Qigong, which is a Chinese breathwork system. So it's very common across the Eastern practice, or the Eastern practices. And you can find that if you bring your focus to moving from your navel, that gives a slightly different focus. And if you want to increase the movement, just touch your shoulders, so bring the movement slightly higher. And just really go from side to side to suit you. You can lift your heels. The swaying from side to side also disconnects your mind from stress thoughts just while you're doing it. So it acts as a mindfulness practice as well in many ways. And you find also that the breath takes care of itself. You don't have to think about breathing, you just naturally do breathe. And then just gently come to slow your movement down. And then very gently come to a standstill. Maybe bring your feet to hip distance apart. Lift and roll your shoulders. And breathing in, just raise your hands up. Clasp and reverse your palms upwards. And then just sway to one side. You can bounce or be static. Come to the center and sway to the other side. Come to the center and just very gently turn. You can keep it static or just bounce the movement. Come to the center and just turn to the other side. And come to the center. Lower your arms to your waist. And breathing out, turn to look beyond one shoulder. Breathe in as you bring your head back to the center. And breathing out, turn to move your head to the other shoulder, to look over the other shoulder. And then come back to the center. And just once more in your own time. And then come to the center. And just lift, when you're ready, your heels and test your balance today. Our balance seems to alter every day, and then well done, just lower your heels back down to the ground and release your hands and circle your wrists upwards, stretch out like sun rays, and then circle your hands downwards. And then open and close your fingers a couple of times. And then just release your hands. So this next movement is particularly good for waking you up. It's particularly good for clearing your energy field. So we're surrounded by a magnetic field. Just make sure that you bend your knees as much as you need to, and that you don't have to touch the ground. You can come to bring your hands to wherever it's appropriate on your legs, or if you're good to touch the ground, then please, yeah, that's great, and do that. But move to where you're comfortable. So breathing in, raising your hands up. You can look ahead or look up. And then breathing out, really bend your knees as you perhaps slide your hands down, but coming to touch your hands wherever is appropriate for you. Press your feet down as you breathe in and roll up again, looking ahead or up. Breathing out, really bend your knees and roll down. Breathing in. We're going to do this quite a few times. Pressing your feet down, nothing too onerous. Of course, you can imagine that in a very fast-paced class, you would be doing this movement very quickly. But we're just going to take it at a slow pace. And in this way also you begin to feel your way into the movement that you're making. There's no sudden movement, there's no sudden jerking, it's all very gentle. And you feel everything moving. Sometimes you can hear everything moving. And then make the next complete movement your last one. And come back to the centre. And lift and roll your shoulders. And then once more raise your shoulders up, clasp and reverse. And just sway from side to side. And then release your hands. So this next one, we're going to, again, bend the knees as we come down, and you don't have to touch the floor. You can decide just to stop or touch your hands wherever you feel is appropriate, on your shins, or yes, you can touch the floor. So breathing in, raise your hands up, clasp them, and have your second finger pointing up and your thumbs over. I've got my left over my right, whatever works for you. And then breathing out, bend your knees and touch the floor or your leg to the left. Breathing in, stretching up, and breathing out, bending over to the right. Breathing in, come back up to the centre. And breathing out, go over to the left, coming down as little or as much as you would like. And feel the stretch on your right side. Breathing in, stretching up, and breathing out, going over to the right. And feel the stretch on your left side. Breathing in, coming up, and then left again. Breathing in, coming up, and to the right again. And then we'll make this next one the last one. Left, and then right. Come up to the centre and just release your hands, lift and roll your shoulders, and then come to standing with your feet slightly hip width apart, and this is a breathwork exercise. So this is again slightly different to what we might have done before. Just make your hands into loose fists, thumbs up, and raise your arms to about 30 degrees. If that's too much, just bend your elbows. And breathing in and out through your nose, but you're at home, so if you want to breathe out through your mouth, that's fine. Equal breaths, sniff the air in and sniff it out. And last one, breathe in, bring your thumbs together and breathe out, lower your hands back down alongside you. And once more, lift and roll your shoulders. This time, breathing in, turn your head to, bring your head to the centre. Breathing out, turn your head to the left. Breathing in, bring it to the centre, and breathing out, turn your head to the right. Bring back to the centre. So how much you turn your head is really up to you. Breathing out to the left, breathing into the centre, and breathing out to the right, and back to the centre. And just carry on a couple more times. So this balance of the brain is emotionally almost like letting go, and you're also balancing your thyroid and parathyroid glands situated at the throat area. And of course your neck is the physical bridge between your body and your head. So it makes sense that emotionally it kind of catches any tension from your body going through to your emotions. So freeing off your neck can be very helpful to dissolve stress. But of course the key is to go slowly. And again you'll see particularly young people being very quick with moving their head, but you just want to make sure that your head is moving gently and appreciating every little movement. No crick necks, just a gentle movement from side to side. And then come back to the centre and stand with your feet a little bit further apart and arms out to the side. Turn your right foot out and your left foot in, and if you feel that that balance is not great for you, then you can always move your right foot out more towards the edge of the mat. So it's almost like the beginning of Warrior Two. You can softly drop your front right knee a little bit, and then bring your left elbow up as if you're almost pulling a bow. Pull back your left elbow to pull your bow and look beyond your thumb and your hand of your right hand. And then bring your palms together and slide your left arm back, elbow high. Pull your bow and then stretch your arms out. Bring your left arm to your right palm. Bend your left elbow as you slide it back high. Pull your bow and then open your arm out with your left arm, so you're stretching across your chest. And again, bring your left palm towards your right palm as you turn to look at your both hands. Pull your left elbow, slide it back high, pull your bow, and then open out your arms. And then just release your arms. Lift and roll your shoulders and bring your feet to the centre again. And then turn your right foot in and your left foot out. And just take a moment to rebalance again. If you feel that you're a little bit wobbly, be free to move your left foot slightly out towards the edge of your mat. And again, just come to a soft warrior and bend your left knee slightly. Just bend your right elbow high and just pull your bow. Just get your aim and your focus in. And then opening your arms outwards, bring your right palm to your left. Slide the right elbow back high as you're pulling your bow, and then open out again. Bring your right palm to your left. Slide your right hand, back high. Pull your bow, and then open out. Just feel the stretch under your arms. And then last time, bring your right palm to your left. Slide your hand back high, pull your bow, and then open out. And then lower your hands back down along your side. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then bring your feet to the centre. Just perhaps heel toe your feet in a little bit, but they're still wider than hip width apart here. And the next exercise is very good for the liver. But again, there are different ways to do this. So bring your hands onto your waist and just start to circle in one direction. So actually this is the beginning of a belly dance movement. You're just swirling, you're bending your knees. You'll find that there's a natural breath movement, but if you want clarification, you breathe in as you stand up and breathe out as you bend down. But I think you'll find that you do this very naturally. And the wider you roll and sway from side to side, the greater the effect it will have. But we're going to change direction, so when you're ready, just swirl to the other direction. And just notice the difference. I would say that we tend to favour one side or the other. It's our brain that's most dominant in ourselves. So and then come to the centre and just release your arms and come to bring your feet slightly together, hip width apart now. So this next movement is very easy. I'll just explain what it does. It sets a vibration from the feet right the way to the head. So vibration is the opposite of stagnation, and it really boosts you up. So it's almost like power walking. We're not going to do it for very long, but it's quite effective at any point, and how high you lift your feet is up to you. So it's really just, you can do this anytime. You can feel the blood beginning to pump round a little bit more. You'll get some people running on the spot more, but this is more controlled. How much you swing your arms is up to you, and how high you lift your knees is up to you. And then gently slow it down and come to standing. So the next exercise I am going to show you. I think it's very tricky, so you're most welcome not to do it. You're also welcome not to come down quite so low. Why you would do it is, again, it raises energy, so it's an energy diffuser for the body. I'm going to have my feet slightly wider than hip width apart. Feel free to bend your knees a little bit or a lot, or just watch and say, just determine when you want to join in, or how much you want to join in by. So I'm bending down and I'm lifting up. So I'm going to keep my hands on the floor, bending my knees, looking up and then down. Bending down. Bending, looking up and down. So you would actually come right down to squatting, and that's exhausting on the knees. Keeping your hands on the ground, looking up and down. But how far you want to go down is up to you. We're not going to do very many. We're just going to play at the edges of this. And you'll see how quickly it can use your energy. And then come to bring your feet parallel and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Lifting and rolling the shoulders. Bring the hands to the centre. And we come to the ground to rest for a couple of breaths, just to give the body a chance to recover before we go on with the next movements. So come to kneeling and then come on to your bottom. You can have your feet on the floor and your knees bent. And just rest your hands on your abdomen to explore your breathing. And while you're here, you can stretch your feet out and relax them. And stretch your toes, your big toe away from your little toe, and relax. Just gently wave your knees from side to side. Your hips can come off the ground. And then with your feet centered on the floor and your knees upright, just raise your arms above your head. You can clasp your wrists, check that your chin comes down towards your chest, and just take an in and an out breath, stretching your chest and stretching under your arms. This really does encourage you to take some deep breaths, just letting everything go. And then breathing out, lower your arms and hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. And just enjoy rocking from side to side, massaging across your lower back or the top of your bottom. The further you hold your knees away from you, the lower on your bottom you'll go, and the more you hug your knees in towards you, the higher up on your lower back you'll go. So just choose what feels nice for you. And then place one foot and the other foot down onto the ground. You can support your legs under your thighs if you want to. And cross your right leg over your left. Just circle your right ankle a couple of times. And then reverse the direction of the circle. And then just gently sway both knees from side to side. Your hands can be resting on your abdomen or palms down. Support your right leg underneath the thigh to lift off your right foot and place your right foot on the ground. And then transfer your attention to your left thigh as you pick up your left knee, cross your left foot over your right leg, and circle with your hands either resting on your abdomen or palms down. Circle your ankle a couple of times in one direction. And then circle your ankle a couple of times in the other direction. And then very gently, just gently sway your knees from side to side. And then come back to the centre as you support your left leg, perhaps under the thigh, to lift it off and place your left foot back onto the ground. And then once more, just sway your knees from side to side. And this time you can bring your head in to join. So as your knees go in one direction, your head turns away from your knees. Come back to the centre, and then your knees go in the other direction and your head turns away from your knees. So just a couple of times. And again, how much you let your knees drift over to the side and lift your hip off the ground will be up to you. You'll get more of a massage the more you sway from side to side, but just choose a level of movement that feels good and appropriate for you today. And then coming back to the centre, hugging the knees into the chest. And taking the time, I'm going to roll to my right and take my time to come up to standing. Gently, no hurry. Take your time. Come onto your knees and then roll up in your time to standing. And in this system of yoga, we are going to introduce kriyas. So kriyas in yoga are cleansing actions, and very often cleansing actions can be associated with the breath. There are one or two breaths, so Kapalabhati comes to mind, where you're cleansing your breathing system. So this is very much more on the subtle emotional level, and I'm going to bring my hands, clasp my hands together, my thumb, one thumb's over the other and my fingers are up. And breathing in, just raising my arms away from me to 30, 45 degrees. Breathing out, bringing my hands back to my heart centre. Breathing in, looking to the ends of your index fingers, and breathing out, bringing your hands back. And that's the exercise. It achieves more than you would think, breathing in and breathing out. If it's too much for you to stretch your arms out, then keep them bent. So in the full practice, you might do this 21 times, for instance. You might do it actually double that, but you'll find that your arms get very tired. Breathing in, looking up, breathing out. Chin comes to chest. It's deeply rhythmical and quite soothing. It's meant to almost reset your whole body. But I'm not going to do this very much longer. Just wanted to introduce this to you. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And I'll make the next one the last one. Breathing in, extend your arms up. And breathing out, coming back. Just release your arms and lift and roll your shoulders. And then come to either kneeling high or a comfortable cross-legged position. So choose which you want to be. I'm going to start kneeling high and then I'll come to sitting afterwards. My arms are going to be out. If that is too strong on your shoulders, then feel that you can bring your hands to your waist. And just breathe in as you turn to the left. Breathe out as you turn to the right. In, left, and out, right. Breathing into the left and breathing out to the right. In, left, and out, right. In, left, and out, right. In, left, out, right. And last time, into the left, and breathing out to the right. Bring your head back to centre and release your arms back down alongside you as you lift and roll your shoulders. And now you can stay high. I'm going to come to a cross-legged seated position. I'm going to come to a seated position. And here, resting your hands on your knees, either down, second fingers inside the thumb, or up. Down as gesture of knowledge, up as gesture of consciousness within the Jnana Mudra hand gestures. It doesn't matter, just what you feel comfortable with. And breathe in as you raise your left shoulder and drop it. And breathe in and breathe out as your right shoulder. In, out. Just find your own rhythm. In, out, in. Just really drop your shoulder. You're really releasing all the tension in your body, but also, of course, your mind. So this shrugging of the shoulders you find across a lot of yoga traditions, but particularly going into the martial arts traditions of boosting your inner strength and energy and resolve your immune system. So this is very much connected with the upper lung movement. It's something that you'll find as compensation for some of the lung movements that we've done. So it's such a simple exercise, but it releases stress, it releases your neck, and it just tones that area around the neck. And then make the next ones the last ones, and just lift both shoulders up, and then just relax. And then sitting up, just do a couple of breath of fire, which is what we did before when we had our hands up, breathing in and sniffing the air in and out equally. But here, just bring your hands down and just do a couple of sniffing the air in and out. It gets rid of all the toxins that we might have accumulated, and it cleanses through the system. Next one, last one. Just notice the effect that might have had on you, or how you feel. And then just bring your hands down to the ground and slightly behind you. So classically your hands would be fingers facing forward, but this is relaxed, so just have your hands where you want to. And just again, lift your chest, which means that you might look up slightly. Control your chin, don't let your head flop back, but just keep a lift and lift your eyes up if that helps. And we'll just do a couple of breaths, breath of fires here, breathing in and out. And last one. And then just release. And come back upright. Bring your hands back down again and stretch your legs out this time. And just lift your chest. That lengthens you at the front. Lifting your chest is uplifting for your mood. Look slightly up. Control it. Control, not head flop your head back, just slightly lift. Eyes up. It's impossible to retain stress when your eyes are up. And it reaches to clear your pathways, neural pathways, and open the gateways for creativity. So just looking up for a couple of breaths. If you wanted to include an eye exercise here, you can perhaps move your eyes, keeping your head where it is, from left to right, right to left, up and down, left to right and right to left. And then just close your eyes to clear them, and then just open them again. And then pressing your hands down to bring your head upright. Lift and roll your shoulders. And this is very strange, but just stay where we are. So just move your hands, and clasping my hands, thumbs over one another, second fingers up. Just sway a few times from side to side. We're not going to go very far because you're sitting unsupported. But just swaying from side to side, again, is looking at clearing the magnetic field. And then come to release your hands and come back to, before we come to a cross-leg position, just point your toes away from you and extend your heels a couple of times. And then circle your ankles once more in one direction, and then circle your ankles once more in another direction. And then come to a cross-leg position, and just relax your hands on your knees, your tops of your legs again, adopting whichever position works for you. And just take a couple of breaths, noticing how you feel. We've blown the cobweb through the body, or out of the body, through and out. And then Turn your palms upwards and we'll just do a sa, ta, na, ma. Or if you don't like that, mentally count to yourself 1, 2, 3, 4. As you touch your thumb to your second finger, third finger, fourth finger and little finger. So again, it's a brain exercise. And I'm going to say Sata Nahma, which represents a circle of life, but you can just listen or speak or not speak or count 1, 2, 3, 4, that's fine. So we'll just do a few rounds. Sa, second finger, ta, third finger, na, thumb to fourth finger, and ma. Sa, ta, na, 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 ma. And then last one, sa, ta, na, and ma. And just sit for a couple of breaths more and reflect that I believe I'm not a great one for astrology, but I understand that Mercury is retrograde, and that means that often the pathways of communication are very tricky and blocked. I've had all kinds of electrical things going wrong and asking me to sign in with passwords and things don't quite work properly. So that's my often experience. Emails don't get through, and but reflecting on that, it gives us a time to be introvert or introspective, and just to, especially with the current restrictions, gives us a bit of time to rethink, recreate, be creative, and just re-examine our perspective. So choosing your favourite colour today, and imagine fairy dust, like sparkling dust, just sprinkling your favourite colour all over you, and it confers your thought for the day, sealing in only positive thoughts and letting negative thoughts disappear. So you've been totally rejuvenated in every way. And we finish by, as I said, once more sprinkling our fairy dust of our favourite colour all over us. And then taking chin slightly to the chest, hands on the heart, to take a bow for ourselves today, to have a lovely rest of the day ahead, week ahead. And thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.